In this question, we have a school that is going to invest 60,000 Rand in order to put up floodlights. 3 years later, the interest rate is going to drop. 4 years after the first investment, 10,000 is withdrawn. What is the investment worth after 13 years? So I think we can make a timeline for this one. I always like to make two timelines, one for the payments and one for the interest rate. It just helps keep things nice and clear. So we know that this question is about 13 years. So we're going to start at T0 and it would end off after 13 years. We start by, or they start by investing 60,000 Rand. And then for the next payment is after 4 years. So at T4, they are going to take away 10,000 Rand. So I just put a minus over here, and that's going to be 10,000 Rand that is taken away. Now we need to look at the interests. So they tell us that it's going to be 12% compounded monthly. Then it changes 3 years later. Okay, so for the first 3 years, so that's up to there, the interest rate is 12% compounded monthly. So I'll just say 12% monthly. Then it changes it drops by 1%, and then it looks like it doesn't change again. So it says 3 years later, the interest rate drops by 1%, and it's going to become quarterly. So that'll go all the way to the end because they don't change it again. So that means we'll now have 11%, but now it will be quarterly. Now, the way that I like to do these financial maths timeline questions is the following. I look at the payment, so it's this one, and I take the first one, which is the 60,000, and then I completely ignore the other one, like as if it's not even there. And then what I do is I take this 60,000 and I work out how much will it be worth after the 13 years. And I must also make sure that I look at the interest rates as well. Okay, so we know that we can use the compound interest formula, which is P1 plus I to the N. And so the P is going to be 60,000. Actually, let me write this somewhere else. I'm going to run out of space. So that's going to be 60,000. Then I'm going to look at the first interest rate, which is 12%. So I'm going to say 0.12. You might say 12% on your calculator. That's fine. And that's going to be for 3 years. So that'll be 3 times 12. Then your teacher probably also did it like this. If the interest rate then changes, you don't have to go work this out. You just put another bracket. And so that's going to be the next interest rate, which is going to be the quarterly. So that's dividing by 4. And that's going to be for 10 years. So I'll say 10 times 4. Then I would go ahead, type this all in, and let's see what we get for this one. And so that's going to be, now don't round off because it's not our final answer, 093.7183. So that is what that 60,000 Rand would have become. So now I've done the 60,000 Rand, and so you ignore that. Then you go to the next payment, and so that's going to be this one over here. And remember that that starts at T4. So the only interest rate that it will experience is only going to be the 11% quarterly. It will not have this one because that one only happens between T0 and T3. So we can go work that one out. So I'm just going to say that this one is for the 10,000 Rand. Okay, so we can use the same formula. So it's A equals to 10,000. Some of you might be like, Kevin, this one's a minus. Doesn't that change anything? Not at all, guys. It just means we're going to minus it at the end. But it doesn't change any of the calculations. Now that one only has the quarterly interest rate. So that's going to be 0.11. Now be careful. It's not going to be 10 times 4 like the previous one because this one only starts at T4. So that's going to be 9 years. So we say 9 times 4. And that's it. You just go calculate that now. And so that's 26554. Now don't round off because it's not the final answer. And then you just put everything together. So because this one has a minus, you will just minus it. So the total for this school or whatever it is going to be 254,093.7183 minus 26554.97517. And that should give us 227,538.74. Thank you very much for watching.